This week marked exactly 1 year since COVID was first detected here in Michigan, and we know it's been a tough year for everyone.
And tonight we want to take a look back at some of the positive steps made in such a tough year that can help us rebound and thrive as we go forward.
In February, the director of supply management research at Grand Valley State University said there could be a silver lining on the local job front from COVID with the concept of reshoring.
A lot of firms got burned awfully bad with these extended supply chains stretching all over the world.
Long says he's already seeing manufacturers looking to bring that work back home.
It is entirely possible that we will end up with more business as a result of this pandemic, because, as I said, particularly in the case of automotive, they identified some low-cost producers in West Michigan.
Speaking of new work, created just before the pandemic, Gig It Done is a Facebook page where people showcase work they need done, which in turn is a great place for people to find side gigs.
I ended up building some cabinets for a lady in her garage, which is not my specialty, but you know, it was an opportunity for me to make a few bucks.
There are currently 11 different Gig It Done Facebook groups for the various West Michigan counties. The Kent County page alone has nearly 6,000 members.
There really is no end to what can be found on Gig It Done.
Imagine working for the company of your dreams without having to relocate. John Chuang, founder and CEO of Aquint, has been placing talent in some of the most well-known companies for 35 years and says we've seen a generation's worth of change in just 1 year.
Companies that have never really hired outside their areas are going full on remote, where they're more than happy to interview folks from different parts of the country.
So Chuang stresses, don't be afraid to apply to national jobs that you think are eventually going to turn local again, because many won't.
One way to look at it is that a third of jobs will go back to normal, a third of jobs will be fully remote, and a third is kind of in between, will be hybrid, which means that approximately 50% of jobs will stay remote.
The popular Incubator kitchen in downtown Grand Rapids came in handy in 2020 for food and drink entrepreneurs like Eric McCauley, who turned his job layoff into a new full-time company, Let's Stay Home Cocktail Kits, which are now available at retailers on both sides of the state.
Our whole approach is to reduce down overhead. That's one of our main goals, just because that is so crucial for any small business, especially in their first year.
And national nonprofit organization SCORE, started by the Small Business Administration, saw their mentoring activity in Grand Rapids jump for the year 2020.
Generally, experience is the currency that we bring to the table. It's what a lot of startups are looking for. It's what existing businesses need, someone who's been there, done it.
And their distancing measures proved so successful, they now anticipate helping even more entrepreneurs and business startups with future video workshops. Spectrum Health brought virtual visits to the forefront before the pandemic, but in 2020 they performed approximately 216,000 of them and trained 1,200 additional clinical staff to deliver virtual care going forward.
I think everyone wants to have access to their doctors, and to do that virtually is an amazing solution.
And thanks to their new partnership with TytoCare, visits can be more in-depth, getting heart and lung sounds, even inner ear and throat exams.
Surveying the providers that are using it, they feel from an 86% standpoint that the exam that they can do with this device is equal, if not better, than in office.
And lastly, speaking of our health, what we learned in 2020 can help us every flu season going forward. At last check in February, we were seeing flu test positivity at just 3% and under.
It's just amazing that influenza, the activity is where it's at. We've never seen this before. It's just at record lows. I would not at all be surprised, Derek, if some people going forward, like you said, during flu season, I think you're going to see more people wearing masks in public.
And we have links to all those resources that we mentioned and more. Just check out Rebound at fox17online.com. Meanwhile,